So, welcome.
Thank you.
This is my first ever podcast. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, basically, there's no formal backstory on why I'm doing this. Just one day I was randomly like talking to my brother and I was like, I should do a podcast. And he's like, yeah, you'd be good at it. And that was it. And whenever I told this to my friends, they were all like super supportive. They're like, yeah, you could do one. So I would say like right now I am in my heel girl era. What that basically means is I do whatever my gut tells me. So
That's
I just
really
do
good.
it. But yeah, I will let you introduce yourself. I know you as my yoga teacher. I know you're a farming enthusiast as well.
You could say that, yes.
And
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, my hobbies is actually like gardening, and a hobby that I have that is quite non-yogic is also like go-karting and motorsports, which is maybe hard to relate to yoga. And yeah, you know me as your yoga teacher. When did you start practicing?
that's a good
with me?
question.
It was it like 2 years ago?
I think but that wasn't the start of my practice. I started properly, I would say, during COVID. I just started following videos and I started doing it at home. And I tried like a bunch of different types. And then for some reason, I don't know, I fell more towards Ashtanga. And then
Oh, that's a good.
And then I came to your class because I was doing it at home and I wasn't sure about some of my postures, my breathing. So I came there to correct those things. And that really helped.
It actually looked like you had been practicing quite a long time.
No.
But why Ashtanga?
I think because maybe I don't know much about yoga, but I felt that with Ashtanga, there's more room to progress.
Like if you go to another type of yoga class, just some random yoga class, it's maybe like more, just a little bit of stretching and.
Yeah, it's a workout.
Yeah,
it's just a workout. Yeah.
Workout or stretching or just like. But yeah, in Ashtanga there is like a clear path that you're taking, and maybe that's kind of the progress that you like were looking for, or that you saw in the Ashtanga practice.
Because I mean, I feel like in my life I'm very unorganized and unstructured.
Oh yeah, me too.
So maybe that's what I need.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also what got me interested in Ashtanga yoga, with Ashtanga, of course.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Year 1990. No, I'm just kidding.
I came into contact with yoga through like health and healing and being disorganized, and I still am very disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
But it started like with me going through a phase of like cleansing and healing, and then I came into contact with yoga. And I didn't know I was doing yoga. I was just like spontaneously like in the forest breathing and moving, and then I saw something on YouTube that looked similar. And I was like, oh, it's actually yoga.
Wow.
And then I went to some yoga classes, and then I went to a yoga teacher training.
Okay.
And I was teaching yoga for a year or two, and then I found Ashtanga yoga.
Okay.
My girlfriend at the time was really into Ashtanga yoga, and first I thought it was crazy.
Okay.
But then I started to see like, oh, it actually has this discipline, and you're actually going somewhere, and you can see your own progress. And it was the discipline that really got me hooked, because that's what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been always drawn to these kind of disciplines. I was also into martial arts at one point, which is also very, very much about discipline.
So I had some questions. How do you feel that, or do you feel there is a difference in ratio with men compared to women who come into the yogic life.
Yes. No, that's a shame.
Yeah.
In Ashtanga yoga, I see that there are more men than in other styles of yoga classes. That's my experience.
Okay.
But I don't know, it might be different. I haven't been to so many yoga classes lately.
I only see women. I go to a lot of classes around
Yeah.
here, and yeah, it's mostly women. Maybe there's like one man in a class.
Yeah.
I don't think that yoga in particular can help you with weight loss or achieve some fitness goals that you might be into. But I think for the overall mind, body, and soul, it's a great tool to have. And if you are an athlete, or if you are into like other sports or anything you do in your life, if you're a runner or if you're just weightlifting or whatever, if you add yoga into that mix, I think that's perfect then.
Yeah, for sure.
It works every muscle in your body. It stretches everything. There's better recovery. There's no injuries. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You can injure yourself from yoga. Like if you start forcing and
maybe
using the wrong technique and
yeah.
like putting your legs into lotus position
When
if you're
they
not
don't
ready
go
for
there.
it.
Yeah. I've done that a few times, but
Yeah, me too. I have gotten my share of knee pain, but also been able to like heal my knees with the yoga practice.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I definitely noticed because I was training for this half marathon, and I remember yoga became a very important part of that training as well, because if you're just running, it's very easy to not recover the next day. So I was trying to alternate my days. Like if I'm running today, tomorrow I need to do yoga to stretch.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. And yeah, now it's just kind of become a part of life. I don't really follow the early morning first thing you do when you wake up. I can't do that.
Yeah, me neither.
But I wonder, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, that so Finland doesn't have a very conventional sunrise, sunset.
No.
And how do you think that affects us? Like, if I want to do yoga at sunrise every day is not the same.
No, that only works in India.
Yeah, so because I was actually thinking about this, like, how does Surya Namaskar work then?
Yeah, good question.
I know, right? It's very interesting, and I was
well, first of all, it's not a Finnish tradition.
Yes.
It's an Indian tradition.
That
and there
too.
you do it at sunrise.
And another research that I recently came across, I don't know if you're familiar with brainwaves.
Yeah, I have read about them.
I don't know how much of a healer you are, but a lot of people use these Thetha state of mind for healing.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's that state when you are able to connect your unconscious and your conscious mind. So that moment can be right before you wake up, you're not in deep sleep, or even after you wake up. They say it's estimatedly maybe the first 20 minutes after you wake up, you are still in theta state, which basically means that your brain frequency is very low, not the lowest, but still very low, and you're kind of functioning in this autopilot mode. And in that zone, your brain is basically like a sponge.
Yeah, I think you have more awareness in those moments.
Yeah.
And when you said about like connecting your subconscious or unconscious to your conscious, so you also become more conscious about yourself, or more like self-aware, and more conscious maybe about your thoughts. Yeah, you get this sense of like more awareness or clarity. And it's easier maybe to self-reflect also in those moments. Otherwise, when your mind is starting to become more active, like during the day, and then you kind of lose yourself in the mind. I find also like when I am in a rhythm of having like a morning practice, then it's so nice uh, because of like the state of mind when you wake up and you practice and you don't think about lots of stuff. But like during the day, it can be a little bit more difficult for me to like start practicing yoga.
Yeah, I think it's yoga can, I guess, take you into that state. But yeah, you really need to work hard for it. But I completely agree with you. Like if I do yoga in the middle of the day, I am just stretching. I am not meditating at all. I am not in that deep state. But maybe one time out of 10, I am able to go that deep. But
yeah, it's more challenging.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
Yeah. And I think also even like evening practice, it's not the best. But sometimes it's the only practice you can do.
Yeah.
Like depending on your lifestyle and what kind of responsibilities you have.
Yeah.
Like if you have children, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you need to do is maybe to make breakfast.
Yeah.
Like
I always do evening practices. I don't. That's the only time where when I'm done with everything for the day, that's my time to relax and do yoga then.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
But like even sometimes just before I'm about to sleep, I will do yoga before. Yeah. And I think if I do it like well enough, I can take myself into that relaxing state, because then how the frequencies work is if you take your brain into that theta state, you are in a very low frequency zone. And then the next zone is after theta is delta, where you're basically unconscious or when you're sleeping. So that's how the mind works. Like you cannot just jump frequencies. You can slowly shift into the next one. Yeah. And yeah, I think that, so either after waking up, or I would even say just before sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do maybe an Ashtanga practice just before sleeping.
Yeah.
or maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I recently came across this and I was like, a lot of people use this theta state like right after waking up, and they do their affirmations, they do their manifestations, or, positive thinking. And that basically then sets them up for the rest of their day. And I've started kind of doing that.
How has it been working out?
It's been 3 days.
Okay.
I don't really see like a difference. Like I wake up and I just start doing very conscious. I look around and I'm just grateful for everything, and I just consciously put that in my brain. Grateful to be alive, grateful to have this body, this health, everything around me. And I don't know yet.
Yeah. I have found I have really much difficulty doing that kind of I don't know why, but I'm just have a hard time to do this kind of affirmations, and maybe I'm just so busy in my head all the time.
It's definitely a very conscious effort, because like you need to come out of your autopilot and you need to think about it.
Yeah, the autopilot state. That's
that's killing us all.
A trap.
Yeah, it is. And but I feel I don't know about you, but I feel like Finland in general can put you in a comfort zone very easily, and you don't even realize it. You have to.
Yeah, you realize it when it's too late.
I hope it's not too late, but you have to constantly be, pushing yourself or challenging yourself, and surround yourself with people who think like that also.
Yeah, I recently had the same realization.
Yeah. What did you do about it?
Well, it was actually like yesterday.
Okay.
So I haven't done anything yet.
Okay.
Or I came to Helsinki and doing this podcast now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's growth, I would say. Yeah.
Immediately doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get like a crazy idea randomly, you have this adrenaline. You're like, oh, let me do this or let me do that. And if you let that idea simmer for a few days or a few weeks, then you're like, what am I thinking? You end up never doing it. So I would say, like, as soon as you get that rush, go for it.
Yeah, taking action.
Taking action in that moment, and then you don't even feel that dumb when you're doing it.
Yeah.
You might feel dumb after a few days. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with this. After a few days, I'm like, I'm done. But
No, you keep going.
but you need to exploit that zone. If it
Yes.
comes, you grab it.
Yes.
There's nothing to lose, I think.
Yeah, I think the same thing also. And yeah, it can lead a little bit to mania sometimes, for me at least. Like when I get an idea, oh, I need to do this, or if I'm playing the guitar and I'm like, oh, I need to immediately record this, and
Yeah.
yeah.
But okay, yeah, let's come back to yoga now. So, you did your teacher training. How long ago was that exactly?
Oh my God,
And
what year is it?
And did you do it here or did you do it in India?
I did it here in Espoo.
Really?
Yes. It was called Seasonal Yoga Teacher Training.
Okay.
It was with 2 teachers from England and 1 teacher here from Espoo. And we had like weekend sessions. Like we were meeting, I think once a month. We had like a long weekend.
Okay.
Intensive weekend, and it was like for a whole year.
Okay.
The
was
teacher
this
training.
200 hours, 500 hours?
200.
Okay.
It was a lot more, but like officially it was like a 200 hour teacher training.
Okay.
There are these intensive teacher trainings like offered in India when you go for like a 1 month retreat.
Yeah, then it's not weekends, obviously. Then it's like every day.
Yeah, every day. And when it's only 1 month, I don't think you can become a yoga teacher in 1 month. Like it takes years to become a yoga teacher, but at least you get a certification.
So
but 200 hour, if you think about 200 hours in 1 month, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You have so intensive days, like full days every day.
Yeah. You're basically in that lifestyle, and so you're not in favor of these 1 month courses. I've even seen like 2-week courses for 200 hours.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a lot. But well, it depends. Like if there is someone who is already like have been doing yoga for many years.
Yeah.
The problem is maybe that, or potentially a problem is that there are no requirements to go to these teacher trainings often.
Okay.
So anyone can just go. There are of course different ones and different qualities of the teachings. But anyone can go and get a certification.
I don't know, because I have also been considering it recently. I just haven't found the right time for myself because I work full time. Something that would ideally work for me is also something that, happens on weekends. And at the moment, like, I have time in the summer, but there's nothing happening in the summer unless I go outside Finland. And I also noticed, like, the price difference is a lot as compared to if I would do it in Asia. Do you think in Finland, like, if I want to start teaching yoga right now, can I just do that?
Of course.
Really?
Yes.
I don't need any certification?
No. Of course, it can help to have a certification, but especially if you're like gonna teach in some yoga school or something, they won't just hire anyone. But if you just want to start teaching yoga, like doing it privately, then of course you can do it. People don't care about certifications.
Really?
The customers, they don't care. No.
Okay.
The yogis.
Okay.
They want someone who can fix their problems.
So they need a therapist.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but people actually don't care about the certifications. They just want to find a yoga teacher they can resonate with. In a yoga teacher training, it's difficult to absorb all the information you get.
Yeah.
And The quality of the teacher training, as I have understood and heard from other people, is much better here in Finland than in India, for example. If you go to India to a teacher training, you don't necessarily get the best asana or like asana therapy, but you get maybe more technical knowledge here about asana and about the body and about anatomy, which is maybe not so important in the Indian tradition.
Because I would consider maybe someone who's had training in India to be like top of the line, maybe, as a yoga teacher.
But yeah, the certification, like if you look at the Ashtanga yoga community, there is no teacher training for Ashtanga yoga teachers. There is you go to Mysore. I haven't been to Mysore, but you go to Mysore and you practice for minimum like a month or two. Nowadays with Sharat Joyce. And then you keep showing up year after year, and then he can like certify you to teach the Ashtanga sequence. When he sees that like you're like a dedicated practitioner.
Okay.
Like there is no teacher training, but he can give like certification is not the right word. It's authorization to teach the Ashtanga sequence.
But you need to know the sequence, right? Like you need to have some background in it. Even if you're going to Mysore, you need to.
Yes, you need to. You practice like the Mysore style. You do your own self-practice.
Okay, but there's no time frame for this.
No. No. The goal is not to go there and become a yoga teacher. The goal is to go there and practice
for your own
with
self.
the guru. Yeah.
Okay. That also makes sense why I couldn't find any trainings.
Oh, yeah.
And the closest I could find was maybe just vinyasa training, and I was like, it's more or less the same. I would maybe try to get that. What does Ashtanga mean?
It means 8 limbs. Like Ashta means 8 and Anga means limb. And this goes back to the text of Patanjali, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, where you have these 8 limbs of the yoga, which is like how you can start to practice your mind to be able to go into this calm state, the Thetha state you were talking about. So it starts with the 8 steps, which is yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, and dhyana. So the first 2, you have yama and niyama, which are these ethical and moral principles. The first one is ahimsa, which is non-violence, and satya, truthfulness, and this kind of almost like
a code of life, basically.
Yeah. And cleanliness and so on. So this is before you start with asana, and then you start with asana. Or these principles are like supposed to be integrated also into your asana. Like being true to yourself and why you are practicing, and not pushing yourself to cause harm or pain, like the non-violence part. And then the third limb is asana, and then we have pranayama, the breathing practice, and pratyahara, which is like the state of, or between these physical practices and the non-physical practices.
What does that mean?
The physical practice is like the asana practice and the breathing practice. And then the non-physical practice is something that you cannot see, like when you're meditating. You cannot see that, you're meditating wrong.
Okay.
So that's the non-physical practice.
Okay.
So then you kind of, when you do these 8 steps of the practice and have everything integrated, then you're like in this meditative state of practice, which is also instructed in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika text, which is a much newer text, but there is also, it says that Hatha Yoga is of no use if Raja Yoga is not being practiced. So that the asana which basically means that if you practice asana and don't have the meditation, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And the tool to do that is with the breath and connecting the breath and the movements and calming down your mind and going into this meditative state when you practice. That's the yoga practice, as compared to a workout practice where you may be listening to music and stimulating all of your senses, which is the opposite of what the yoga practice should be.
Yeah, you're bringing yourself down, basically.
Yes.
Going more internal.
Yes. I would say maybe bringing yourself more up.
Oh, okay.
But yes, more internalized. And this is the fifth limb, which is the pratyahara, that I said is like the combining the physical and the non-physical. You're like turning your senses inwards. You're shutting out your senses. So this is why in the Ashtanga practice there are these drishtis where you are looking in the practice. So even your sight, you're bringing more and more closer to your body. You're looking at your hand, looking at your navel, looking at your nose even, or looking like past your nose, looking at your toes.
Yeah.
So you're bringing your sight to
into
your body.
Focus, maybe,
yes. And your hearing, you're starting to listen to your breath from the inside. And you can actually hear the sound on the inside, which is something we don't do during the day. Like when you're busy at work, for example, you don't listen to your breath on the inside.
Yeah.
Generally, just more awareness about the present moment and bringing yourself back to your body from your mind.
Because how I would judge it is when I am like very conscious of my breathing and I'm doing all those steps, keeping my focus in the moment, I lose track of time. Yes. And that's how I know, okay, I did something right.
Yes.
But that doesn't happen always. I can go in that state, I can come out. I come out. Like I cannot stay in it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We are in that state many times during the day, but only briefly.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe only during the yoga practice that we try to extend this period of time staying in this state. And like maybe even like forcing ourselves to be in that state.
Yeah,
because it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's harder than it looks or sounds.
And that's also one of the meanings of the word hatha yoga, to do something like with force or to bring forth change forcefully.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays hatha yoga, the word is like associated with a gentle and relaxing yoga practice, which is maybe the opposite of what it...
I think it's very intense. I don't think it's relaxing at all.
Oh, but you see sometimes like people marketing like gentle hatha yoga.
I think that would be maybe something like yin yoga.
Mm.
I think that's relaxing. That's where I lose complete focus because it's too relaxing for me.
Yeah, to me also. I'm not... or it feels like yin yoga is not for me yet. It feels too difficult.
I just remembered that we did not introduce your name. We just did the whole podcast.
Sure.
Is your full name Alexander? I know you go by Alex.
Yeah, Alexander is my full name.
Okay. And how long have you been living in Finland?
My whole life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're a Finn?
I'm a Finn. Yes,
okay.
100%.
Okay.
But my mother tongue is Swedish.
Okay.
I live in a Swedish-speaking town called Ekenäs or Tamisaari.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
So when I was growing up, all my friends were speaking Swedish, and my family is completely Swedish-speaking, and the schools are in Swedish. Everything is Swedish in that town.
Uh-huh.
And as a little child growing up, it was really difficult to understand that you would actually need Finnish someday. It felt very alien.
Yeah, me too. But I think we can wrap this up now. I think we've had some good conversation. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I had a great time, and I learned a lot of new things about yoga. And let's see, maybe we can have you back someday.
Yeah, it felt like we were like barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, definitely. We need to have maybe another one of these sessions soon.
Yeah, to get more into it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.